We are Cauldron and Specter, and we were taking a little bit of a different approach, and we were going to read you ghost stories. This one is called 2 Stories from a Mortician. I have been a mortician for 36 years. I have embalmed over 12,000 bodies. During my career, I had 2 extremely significant events which has changed everything how I used to believe about death and the afterlife. I am a Christian, but the 2 events in my career has made me question everything. I have shared these 2 stories because I do not know how people will take it anyway. I have always wanted to get it off my chest. Now, with the internet, I can do that. It is going to feel good to hit submit and let it all out. Here is my first incident. It was approximately 2 a.m. and I just finished embalming. I had approximately 6 bodies all embalmed on tables with white sheets over them. I had taken off my gown and gloves and walked across the room and opened the door. Right when I was about to turn off the lights, I had a rush of pressure that pushed me from behind. I need to say this push was not a regular push, not a focal point type of push when it is directed on the middle of your back or arm. Or a push in a small area of my body. This was a type of wall push that touched the back of my ears to the back of my heels and everything in between. I was moved approximately 1 foot before I ran as fast as I could out the garage door. I jumped into my gray Volkswagen Jetta, and drove to my condominium. When I got home, I sat down in my chair and spoke to Jesus and spoke out loud saying, I do not know how I offended you or if you are mad at me, but I am so very sorry. I remember looking at my right arm because my skin was tingling as I was saying this. All my hairs on my right arm looked like my skin was pickled. My hairs were standing straight up. I had never seen my hairs like that before. Second one. Here is my second incident. This is a completely new funeral home, and 23 years later from my first story, I was entering the funeral home to embalm. This was approximately 9 p.m. at night. As an embalmer, we do work at all hours. I was in the prep room and took off my gown and gloves and went down the hallway to grab a bottle of water out of the snack room little fridge. I then walked down the hallway back to the prep room. As I was walking back, there is a mirror in front of me down the long hall. Behind me is a glass door with our outside light on in front of the funeral home. I was walking toward the mirror. A person walked to the door and turned and stopped. I saw this, but I took a couple of steps further and immediately turned around and screamed. The person was no longer there. It was a spirit who was behind me that I saw in the mirror in front of me. When I screamed, and it continued to scream as I ran out of the funeral home. It then continued to scream as I just stood in the parking lot. The scream, it was my scream the whole time. It took my voice and copied it.